Hey, what's up, community? It's KJ here. You're gonna hear my voice, but you probably will not see me on camera today. But I am styling. I'm gonna blow dry and I'm going to style this very loose, not so nappy wig. And so the focus of this live today is really just on talking about textures. As you guys know, a couple months ago, I launched the Texture Match Kit, which is a revolutionary way to purchase human hair extensions for women with kinky and coily and tight curly hair. And so the Texture Not So Nappy is really a very loose natural coarse, just like kinky coarse is tighter than natural coarse. Natural coarse is looser than kinky coarse. So then, not so nappy is looser than natural coarse. The majority of us in the community fall in the kinky and coily category, meaning when our hair is wet, our hair is more coily than it is curly, okay? So when you are in the market for hair extensions and you are looking for something that you want to use with your hair and you are heat styling your hair, which the majority of us in the community are heat styling our hair, not so nappy, all that means is that not so nappy is going to require less heat on the extensions themselves to straighten. But when it comes to your hair, if you are in the coily category, it will require you to straighten your natural hair more. Because if you judge this wig right now, when it's wet, compare your hair when your hair is wet. And if this blends, if this is how your hair looks when your hair is wet, then not so nappy will work for you. But the majority of us in the community, when our hair is wet, our hair is far more tighter. It's more of a coil. Not so nappy to me looks like, when it's wet, looks like somebody's hair that has been relaxed and it's been there has been a chemical on the hair to relax the texture. So remove the kink, okay? So, but can anyone in the community use not so nappy? They absolutely can. They just need to know what the texture is and how it relates to their hair, okay? So again, this is what not so nappy looks like when it's wet. And I'm gonna show you how I blow dry it first, and then from blow drying it, I'm going to heat style it, okay? And if there's any questions or comments, feel free to leave a comment and I will try to answer them. Let me just say this. I am not going to, I'm going to use my comb attachment very sparingly when I blow dry this wig. And that's because the little amount of texture that's there, I want to leave that in the hair, because when I curl it, I always like to remove the texture when I am heat styling or lessen it a bit. I don't want to remove it right now with the blow dryer because then it will be too straight, okay? Remember, when you are using heat from the blow dryer, heat from the curling iron, that will remove texture. That will relax it for a period of time, okay? But I still want the little texture that is in the hair, I still want it to have that. So that's why I'm not using this comb attachment. hung on in it. Okay, community, so I have blow dried this wig. And if you want, if you want to let your wig air dry, you totally can. Blow drying or any, whether that's clip-ins, the product doesn't really matter. Tina said hi. Tina, I figured you would join. Your hair shipped yesterday. If this is Tina Adams, yes. Oh, sorry. Well, it says her full name, doesn't it? Okay. Okay. So if you guys can see this, I hope the camera is picking up. This is what Not So Nappy, and again, all Not So Nappy is a loose, natural course, okay? When we're talking about hair textures, and when you are determining what is your hair texture, the overwhelming majority of us in the community are what is called, what we refer to now is type 4, which is kinky and coily hair, okay? If your hair is coily, your hair is also kinky. It's just what it is. That's just, I look at coily as when your hair is wet, and kinky is when your hair is blow dried. And if you're looking at this wig right now, and again, for those of you that are just joining in, I am going to show you how to style with heat a Not So Nappy wig, which this wig is. And for those of us in the community, if we look at this and say, okay, when our hair is blow dried, will this blend in with my hair? And for me, this is too silky. I'm just gonna bring it in a little bit. See if that's, so you can get in. This is too silky for my hair when I just blow dry my hair. Okay, yeah, that's a good view of what Not So Nappy looks like blow dried. Okay, I've got it. So for those of you who are looking, was my head in there? Okay. For those of you that are looking at textures and you're saying, oh, you know, what do I want to get for my hair? This will show you. And if you want hair extensions to blend in with your hair with just blow drying, judge this wig right now and say to yourself, when I blow dry my hair, is my hair this loose? Mine is not. Mine, I need more kink to my hair. I'm just gonna go over this a little bit more. It's still a little bit damp. Okay, so I'm done blow drying, and again, if you're just joining in, I am showing how to style Not So Nappy Texture, okay? The textures are gonna be the same, whether you have clip-ins, whether you have U-part wig, whether it's a full wig. Now, there is always going to be slight variations in the hair, okay? Because texture with hair is applied by hand, okay? There is no perm rods used to create this, like it is typically when you look at like a body wave texture. That's a curl, a rod, like think of a roller, that's a better term. Think of a hair roller, okay? And how you make body wave, deep wave, those type of textures, those type of patterns that are put on the hair, those are done with rollers. And so you can get more uniform when you're using a roller versus when you are mimicking kinky hair. There is not a roller for that. When you're mimicking hair that is replicating blow dried, there's not a roller for that. So it's all done by hand. And so that's why sometimes with any of the textures, where it's kinky coarse, natural coarse, there can be some slight variation. This is a really loose, not so nappy, so a really loose, natural coarse. And the purpose of this is really just for the ease of straightening the hair extensions. Like a lot of you have seen and know that I wear kinky coarse texture on my hair. And that's because I like the look of kinky hair blown out. For me, this blown out is a little too silky. I prefer something with a little bit more texture that is going to look like my natural hair. Because if I were to leave my hairline out in the front, I would have to straighten my hair more than just the blow dryer. Because remember, the blow dryer is heat. The blow dryer is absolutely 100% heat. But for me, for my texture, and so for those of you who know you are kinky and coily, it's not that you cannot use a texture like this. You absolutely can. And even if you were wearing a wig and you wanted to leave your hairline out, that's fine. You just need to know when you're working with Not So Nappy, you are going to need to apply more heat to your natural hair. Versus if this were a kinky coarse wig, this would appear fuller and it would have more volume to it because that's the nature of kinky hair. Versus this Not So Nappy that I'm working with today is looser because it's less kinky. That's the reason why it's looser. It's less kinky. That's all. Okay? This is not silky straight. This is not going to give you the look and feel of Indian hair with a body wave texture applied to it. You're not going to see that here. This is just a looser, a finer blowout. So for those of you that are more curly in the community, and a more of a looser curl, when you blow dry your hair may look closer to this because your curls are looser. Okay? So I'm going to get into I'm going to apply some wand curls to this wig. And the reason why I did not, when I blow dried it, I could go even silkier. I decided not to because I want to keep the volume in the hair. You know, because we have kinky and coily hair, we naturally, due to the texture, it looks like it has more volume than other textures. And that's a good thing, not a bad thing. you know, for those of you that want to create volume. Okay, I'm just gonna add some of this Kim Kimble Shine Spray onto this. And I get a lot of questions, you know, what products can you put on the hair? Whatever you put on your human hair can be put on human hair extensions. Okay, so this is just adding some shine. The hair was a little dull. And just like we part our hair to style it, you do the exact same with the wig. Start with a smaller section. Did I go around it? Hold on. Oh, yeah, lift it up, please. No, pick the table up. Completely. Okay, there we go. It's up. Okay, thank you. Okay, guys. This is my first live stream in a long time. So I don't know if this is a 1/2 inch. I don't know what size this is, but I'm actually gonna turn the heat down. I had it on 450. I'm gonna turn it down to about 380. Because this texture is already loose. Okay, I don't need to apply the same level of heat as I would a kinkier texture because it's already straightened, you know? Heat is used to straighten. So if you're dealing, it's just like, you know how if someone has a straighter hair type, does not need to apply the same level of heat as somebody with a kinky and a coilier hair type. Okay, so you apply the level of heat accordingly. Okay, what works with one doesn't work for the other. And you'll learn that, you know, the higher the heat setting, the more straight the hair will be. Okay, so I'm just gonna go in small sections. And this is how, if you don't own a curling wand is a curling iron without a holder. That's pretty much what it is, as you can see, because I am just wrapping this hair around the barrel. And I'm getting the same effect as I would with a wand. Okay, I'm just gonna clip this away. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave comments and I will answer them as best I can. Now, when you're doing wand curls, you can go over or you can go under, like I will show you right now. So it's just, and I'll probably keep going over because that's just more easier for me. So it's like curling one way and curling another way. Okay. Just hold that for a few seconds. And you know, curling in smaller sections is really the key for your hair to hold a curl for longer. A lot of times people want to just run through and do something quickly and then say their curls are falling. Well, you know, curling your hair takes time. And if you want your curls to sit longer, I highly recommend going in a smaller section. And you can always use your curling iron, well, if I had this on a higher setting, but to straighten out, you know, you can't, especially like if I had this on 450, oh, this would be like super straight, super straight. And when you wrap it, you do want to use the weight of your hand to hold it, because you're applying pressure. And you need, because I'm using a lower heat setting, and if you're just tuning in, if you're just catching this live, this is KJ from nappyhair.com, and I am curling a not so nappy wig. You'll be able to go back in the live and see how the hair looked when I was how the hair looked wet, and also after how it looks. This is how the hair looks when it's blow dried. And you'll see the finished look of the hair being straightened. And I don't have any hairspray with me right now, but I feel free to spray your curls. Anything that you would use to hold a curl that you would use on your natural hair, you definitely can do that on your human hair extensions. I get a lot of questions all the time asking me about products that can be used on the hair. And I want to stress this very clearly. Whatever you use on human hair can be used on human hair extensions. There's no process that has changed with the hair that takes away from it being human hair. Okay, the only difference with the human hair extension is it is not attached to a live human being. Okay, the hair is not coming out of the root of the follicle of someone's scalp. Okay, and so when you know that and understand that, you'll then know you can do anything you would like to human hair extensions. Like I've said, I go live every Friday on my Instagram, and I've talked about how some community members, which I affectionately call my customers, members of the community, they have relaxed their hair extensions. Okay, so if you have relaxed your hair extension, that just proves you can do anything you would like to human hair extensions. Okay, you can cut it, you can curl it, you can perm it, you can relax it. If you want to add more curl to your extensions. You absolutely can. I don't necessarily recommend that because I think that defeats the purpose, the intended purpose of that texture. But if someone wants to change their hair, they have a right to do that. Like, go right ahead. And that just, there was a girl just a couple days ago who got some sort of straightening, almost like a Dominican blowout. And she had her stylist do that to her clip-ins, and she did that to her hair. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, go right ahead and do that. Because you can, because you're dealing with human hair. Okay, I'm not gonna brush these out yet. I'll brush them out at the end. I'll just let the curls sit. I want to keep the same amount of sections, so I'll have an even curl. Okay, that's too much here. And again, the not so nappy texture is the same for clip-in extensions, for U-part wigs, for wefts, okay? Just because you switch the product type, the hair extension application, whether it's clip-ins, whether it's a U-part wig, or you're using wefts to have a sew-in weave, the texture will remain the same. Because I do get questions from community members and people who are just looking, you know, they're thinking of potentially joining the nappy hair community, and they will ask about is the texture the same for clip-ins and U-parts? And it absolutely is. And that's across the board for any of the textures. The difference is the product, so the application. A U-part wig is not clip-ins, okay? But the texture will be the same. I grabbed a little bit more hair here, so I'm just holding this a little bit longer. See, from this section to this section, this is more hair. So that's why I had the iron on for a little bit longer. And if you didn't want to use a curling iron, you can achieve these same wand curls with rollers, with foam rollers. Because some people feel like they can't, they don't know how to curl, but they still want this type of look. It's totally possible with rollers. Feel free, if you have rollers in your home, use them on your hair extensions. Absolutely. I'm just gonna go over this a little bit more. And again, for your hair to hold the curl the best, I highly recommend working in small sections. Okay. This looks like the product didn't touch. And you know, that's another thing when you're applying product to a wig, you kind of got to get inside the insides of the wig. When you separate the wefts, you can see, oh, the product didn't get in there. So you just apply a little bit more. If you're just tuning into this live stream, I am styling Not So Nappy Texture. It was shampooed because, as you guys know, I always recommend shampooing and conditioning the hair prior to using. That is an absolute must. Okay, just like your hair moves better, looks better when it's clean, the same is going to happen with human hair extensions. The hair does not change at all just because it's on a wig. It's still hair. So you can still straighten it, you can still color it, you can still curl it, you can still cut it. It is still hair. Okay. This type of wig is a lace front wig. And I'll show you guys that when we get to the front. Oh, my nails are snagging. So this is the last part of the wefts. So I'm just gonna section that part off, and then I can curl the lace front. And this wig, you know, I get this question all the time, you know, how long does hair last? And this wig is about 5 years old. It just hasn't been worn that often. But the hair doesn't just disintegrate and go away. If it's not in use, it's not in use. But it can be used. It can definitely be used. In regards to the Not So Nappy Texture, I want people to understand, you know, what it is. Not So Nappy really is just loose, natural coarse. That's it. It's a looser, kinky coarse, meaning it is easier to straighten. Just like somebody who has hair type 1 which basically is no kink at all to it. No kink. The hair is naturally straight. Okay? So this not so nappy hair type is looser. Okay? And so it's easier to straighten. That's all. That's all it is. The majority of us in the community are still heat styling our hair. The majority of all people are heat styling their hair. People blow dry their hair. That is heat styling. That is heat. So I don't care what your hair type is. If your hair is naturally, and you know, when it goes to hair type, we're talking about your hair in a natural state. Okay, we are not talking about, I get a lot of questions and pictures from community members or people new to the community. I'm just gonna make this one curl because this is actually not a lot of hair. Or maybe I won't, no. People who are new to the community, they will send me a picture of their hair straightened and say, what will match with my texture? Well, any hair can match with your hair when you straighten it. Straighten your hair, straighten the hair extensions. You're gonna have hair extensions that look better when straightened because they are matching your hair type. But if you straighten your hair and you're working with straight hair extensions, you'll show straightened hair. Okay. And earlier I talked about adding weight when you're wand curling. Like I am pulling this hair pretty tight because I want to wrap it tight around this barrel. So that it can keep the curl. Okay, so here we are on the back of the hair. I kind of want to finger comb it, but I'll wait. It's so easy to want to start touching it, but I'll just wait. So as this is the front part. So this is the blow dried and this is the styled. And even though I'm only working with 380 degrees, it's still straightening the hair. And even if I was using a kinkier texture, 380 degrees will still straighten the hair. Okay, it absolutely, any heat, we could go even lower. Lower, it won't get it as straight, but the hair will be straightened. It will be relaxed a bit, okay? Let's see, should I turn, let me turn this way. Let me do this. Pull this out of the way. And I do have to hold it on there a little bit longer because the heat setting is lower. But I don't mind that because I still am trying to show some texture. Okay, I got a broken nail here. That's a part of the problem. Gonna brush this out. Let's see, how am I gonna part this? And this is a lace front wig. These are not on my website. Like I said, this is an old wig that I've had. And I thought it would be perfect to show today, and my friend is going to use this because it was a loose, not so nappy. And I want to show what can be done, because a lot of people purchase not so nappy, and sometimes I get comments from and messages from community members, and when they get not so nappy, they are unaware of how much heat they're going to have to put on their hair. And and that's why I'm showing this today, because you need to see the heat level that is involved with this texture. Although if you're wearing, you know, when you're wearing clip-in extensions and you leave your hair out, I'm sorry, if you leave your hair out, it will require you to put more heat on your natural hair, especially for those of us in the community who our hair is not chemically relaxed. Okay, so if you are looking to purchase hair extensions and you want a texture, or a type rather, to blend in with your hair with the least amount of heat, this is where the texture match kit comes in, because we will send you we'll send you a sample, of what not so nappy is, and so you can see for yourself and match it up to your hair, and you get to say, okay, I like not so nappy, but I don't want to put all that heat on my hair to get a blend. Or you figure out a way to use not so nappy and have less of your hair out. When you're using hair extensions as a protective style, you can put virtually any texture in your hair, because your hair is covered up. So it's not that you can't wear not so nappy. You absolutely can, you know, if you like this. It's just understanding the level of heat that's involved. And I think that's really, really, really important. And that's really, really missing in our community when we are wearing hair extension types like clip-ins and like U-part wigs. We need to understand the level of heat that we're gonna put on our hair.
Henry Rodriguez said, hi KJ, I love my 2 units I have, and especially my clip-ins, coming for another unit soon. I want a length this time.
You want to add more length. Okay. And how much length? And what product did she say she wanted? And thank you for your comment. Thank you for sharing the love about nappy hair. I really appreciate that. Really.
She just said she has 2 units and she's coming for another one soon.
Absolutely. My community is so loyal. When I tell you these people come back, they come back in full force. Because I just want to give the community everything that I know. I want to give them the absolute best. And I want to tell them the truth about hair extensions. Thank you for watching, and thank you for commenting. So this is just going to be a really loose wave in the hair. If you're watching this, viewing this live, you can also go, when you have time, you can go onto my Instagram and you can see I have styled my hair just like this with these loose waves, and I use this curling iron to achieve that. I lost my wand curler a couple months ago. I think I just misplaced it. And so I've literally just been wrapping my hair around this barrel, and that's how I get these waves. And you'll see once I brush it all out how it looks. And this is really easy. You know, this live will be saved, so you can come back when you have some time and you have your hair extensions, whether you have clip-ins or you part wig or you have a weave. Watch what I'm doing, and you can do it too on your hair extensions. You can do this on your real hair. I think this barrel is either a 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch. And going in the small sections like I'm doing is what will allow the curls to last. I am almost finished. But also, one drawback to Not So Nappy is I find that the kinkier textures hold a curl better. I have some wigs, and I'll show you. I have a wig that's about 7 years old where the curl is still in it. And I'm gonna tell you why the curl is still in it. I haven't shampooed it. Now the curl will only stay so long. If I put water, you know, water is gonna do to the hair what water does to the hair. It's gonna bring out the truth, okay? And those curls will go away. But while that wig is just sitting there, that hair is holding a curl, okay? So a lot of you community members who say your hair is not holding a curl, I say this with all love and respect, you're doing something wrong. You're doing something wrong. You are not going in small sections. Now, unless there is something wrong with the curling iron, the way you're going about it, you're using, you know, pieces that are too large and expecting, you know, your hair to hold a curl for 2 and 3 weeks and you're using a really big barrel, that's not gonna work typically. This hair does react to humidity. We do have to keep in mind, this is called nappy hair. So there's a reason for that. This texture is going to do what it does, because remember, this is human hair, and it's gonna act accordingly. If you go outside in an area where it's super humid, your curls will relax, okay? And I don't care what kind of hair you have in your head. Unless you have gelled that hair down and put something on there to make it to resist water, go right ahead. But if you haven't put any products on the hair and you want the hair to hold a curl for days and days and days, and you're outside playing in the rain, you have an unrealistic expectation for what hair is going to do. And a lot of times we have that in the community. Okay? But this is why I'm here, to help the community out. When you're dealing with synthetic hair, synthetic can resist humidity. Okay? Because that is not real. It's fake. So it can do other things. But if you want to have human hair extensions, and you want the most natural look, there's pros and cons, okay? Synthetic hair can hold the style because it's fake hair. But human hair, you are not going to find human hair extensions that permanently looks like a wand curler. It's not going to happen. And it's textured too, to look like your hair. It's not going to happen. We haven't gotten that far with technology. Okay? We have not gotten that far. Okay, so we're almost done with this wig. And again, the smaller sections that I use, the better. But as you can see, my bottom curls still are in there. I will add some holding spray. Okay, just a couple. Oops, kind of burned myself. I really should have one of those gloves on. Just a couple more sections. And again, if you're just joining, you will be able to see this whole live, how the hair started and how it finishes, because this will be available. Turn it around so we can see the. I'll make these 2 pieces. Or should I just make that 1? I'll make it 2. Last section right here. Again, if you don't have a curling wand, you can still get these waves in your hair. Just use your curling iron and wrap. Okay. Okay, we're doing like a side part. Junior, if you can hand me that comb, that wide one. No, the brown one. Yeah. Thank you. And that spray bottle. Okay. So this is just a finishing spray. It's a, you guys can get this at Sally's. It's a smoothing anti-static hairspray. Just gonna put this all over. Okay, so I'm just going to loosely comb out, lightly rather, and kind of blend them all together. And this is how you get these loose, beachy, effortless waves in the hair. And sometimes, you know, when you get to the combing out section, you can see, oh, if you've missed a section, you missed a piece, then you just go over it and you do it again. You just go in the same direction. And you just lightly do it because you still want that. It's not too uniform, but it is at the same time. It's a mess. It's a mess look. It's a, no, how do you say, like an undone, although this is pretty uniform looking, but over time, you know, it will drop, and you know, this can, you will not need to recurl this every day. Trust me. Okay. And my next live stream, we can talk about preserving your waves in your hair. Like what you should do at night when you take your wig off. How you can preserve it so that they'll stay in. Okay, so for those of you that were able to watch this live, thank you for joining me. What was that?
Monica said hello.
Hi, Monica. I'm just gonna add a little bit more of this. Okay, so this is the final look of this not so nappy wig. And I'm telling you, if I had gotten this straighter with the blow dryer and straighter with the curling iron, it would not have this volume to it. This is a natural, you know, not too thick, and the curls are giving, you know, it that pop. Okay. All right, community, thank you for joining me, and I will be back soon with another tutorial live stream. All right.